I gotta buy some pajamas. You know, you have to readjust a little bit. Pajamas have got to be the world's funniest clothes. Who designed them to look that way, like a little tiny suit? You notice? Little collar buttoned down. And a breast pocket. There's a useful item. Is anybody using the breast pocket on your pajamas? What do you put a pen in there, you roll over in the middle of the night, you kill yourself. Now, I also bought something that I had never in my life owned before. You may not believe this. Slippers. Never had them. Never had slippers. I'm looking at these things. Basically, there seems like two kinds you can get. You can get the slide in. These are like emergency slippers, I guess. You could set these up by the side of the bed, case of a fire. Hey, you pick them right up and get... You know, you can really save time with those. Or you can get these slippers which have backs, kind of like shoes. Which, if you have pajamas, looks like a suit. This completes the effect. Now you get yourself a flannel briefcase, you're all set.
At WRJN Radio. I have a very special guest. Earth Day is coming up tomorrow, Monday, Earth Day, but we're going to do this on Saturday. Janet Weyker is here from Racine Interfaith Coalition, and you got some special doings tomorrow for Earth Day, and it's going to be gorgeous, sunny with a high of 48.
Yes, we've been praying for that.
Well, the Earth is taking care of you. We're gonna celebrate God's planet that He gave us to take care of. Sometimes we don't take good care of it, but at least we can bring some attention to it for Earth Day, April 22nd. And so what is the Racine Interfaith Coalition doing for Earth Day?
Well, we have a committee on the RIC, it's called Racine Interfaith Coalition, and the committee is called Environmental Justice Task Force. And that group, and I'm a member, is partnering with North Point United Methodist Church and the Racine Dominican Laudato Si Committee, and together we've worked on a plan to begin the first Racine food composting drop-off site. It'll take place tomorrow afternoon at 1:30 at North Point United Methodist Church. And we're
now, where is that, by the way?
It's 3825 Erie Street.
Okay.
Oftentimes we say, do you know where Piggly Wiggly is on the north side of town?
You know what? Now I know where you are.
All right. It's right opposite their parking lot.
Yeah.
So at 1:30, we're going to have our Compost Crusader representative there. Her name is Melissa Tashin. She's the founder and CEO of Compost Crusader, and they are providing the bin and the collection service for us. So the way the program works, so far we have 41 households registered to participate in the program, which means that they've paid a $25 fee to have their food waste collected at this site. And anytime that's convenient for them, 24/7, they can drop off their food waste in this bin. And then every week during the summer, Compost Crusaders comes and empties the big bin and takes the food waste to Blue Ribbon Organics, which is a company right off of 94 and 7 Mile Road in Caledonia, and they take the food waste and turn it into soil-enriching compost. So it's a win-win all the way around. Food waste, a lot of times people, just because it's convenient, just take it and throw it in the trash. And from the trash, it goes into a landfill where it produces methane gas, which is 28 times more toxic or potent than carbon dioxide, entrapping heat into the atmosphere, which causes global warming. So we not only save the heat from that gas and wasted energy, but they end up making really soil enriching compost, which people then purchase from Compost Crusaders and grow vegetables and great flowers. So.
What a great... Now, when you say food waste, you don't mean the packaging. It's just the pure food waste.
Just the food.
Get rid of all the packaging.
When people register for the program, we give them a list of... there are some programs that will not take all food waste. And they will say, we don't take dairy or meat or fish or bones. And even if people do backyard composting...
What's left after that?
Well, you've got bread and candy and cheese and coffee grounds and cooked meats and bones and seafood and dairy product, eggshells, fruit, grains, jelly.
You take all that?
We take all of that.
Okay.
I should say Compost Crusaders takes all of that. And then we also provide a list of stuff that we don't take, like it has to be compostable. It has to be able to decompose and turn back into soil to be added. So things that you couldn't add would be greasy paper. You could put ordinary paper in. So when people collect their food, they can put it in a bucket or a bucket lined with paper or newspaper or a brown paper bag. The brown paper bag and newspaper, that will be compostable, but not anything plastic. So, even orange peels, banana peels, they come with those cute little labels on them for price.
You got to take the labels off.
You got to take those labels off because that just mucks up the composting process. So, Compost Crusader takes it, brings it to Blue Ribbon Organics, and turns it into compost.
Is this the only time of year they do this, or they do it year-round?
We do it all year round.
Okay.
So in summer, the pickup happens every week. In winter, because, you don't have to worry about decomposing so much or smell, it happens every other week. And people usually have fewer food waste in the winter than they do in the summer.
So if you're planting your garden and you need some composting for the garden, you can pick up the composting and mix it in with your soil.
Exactly.
And let's get some dates on here and some places because people are saying, I want to write this down. If they want to pick up the composting, where do they do that?
All right. Blue Ribbon Organics. If they just Google that, you'll find the address. It's quite easy to find. It's right off of 7 Mile and 94. And you just follow that little road. It's not exactly well labeled, but you can get it by the bag, 10-pound bags, or... an even better deal, I have a truck and I go out and get a half a yard at a time, and that's way less expensive. You can get twice as much if you get it in bulk. Some people go out there with their 5-gallon bucket or plastic bags, and they will just fill them up for you, and you can haul it home that way. And Compost Crusader is how they have their headquarters in St. Francis on West Bolivar Avenue, and people can also pick up compost there. We haven't, gotten the program advanced far enough that maybe into the future we could have a closer site right in the city where people could buy it. But currently, if people want Blue Ribbon Organics, which means that all this stuff doesn't have chemicals, fertilizers, or anything mixed in it, and they do tons of this product, and it's formulated and tested that it's really a correct balance for your garden. And if you're starting a new garden and let's say a raised bed, you don't just put compost in there. You use compost and topsoil. Blue Ribbon Organics also has that combination, and you can buy that.
My wife has box gardens.
Yes.
And they built them with railroad ties.
Yes.
And every year she's growing her own vegetables and says, I'm not a huge vegetable eater. She says, what do you want me to grow? I'll grow whatever you want. So I get green peppers. I like green peppers. And she grows them, and they're huge. And they're really tasty, and she does it all herself. She's got screens around it to keep the wildlife away from it because they're waiting for the food too. Mm-hmm. But we do, if something didn't turn out right, we just give it to them. The rabbits and the possums and the squirrels and the birds, all that kind of like that kind of stuff.
And the vegetables that you grow yourself end up tasting way better than store-bought. Unless you go to a farmer's market and they're produced in
we do that too. The roadside stands, where they grow it themselves. And, I'm not a gardener. She is. She's getting all her flowers ready now. They're under a grow light in the house because, like you, she said, it's too cold outside. So she brought them in and we're growing them until it gets a little warmer outside. But this is great. So let's quick review here. I want to talk about people can bring their food down when? Tomorrow?
Well, only if you're a registered member, you can bring it tomorrow. That will be the introduction. And also, we were able to get a small grant to help us get this program started. Mm-hmm. And so, for the first 43 people that register for the program, and actually right now we got 41 people signed up, are getting a really quite handsome stainless steel compost caddy for their kitchen, so that when you collect your food waste at home, and let's say, well, I'm not going down to near that church for 3 or 4 days, you can collect it in this caddy. And it's about a 1.5 gallon caddy. And even if you fill up that caddy before you make your next trip, you can dump it in a larger bucket and then empty it into the large 64-gallon bin that's in the parking lot at the United Methodist Church.
Now, if people want, is the Facebook page, the Racine, actually, the website is Racine.org. Is that correct? That's the information's on there? Okay, good.
And you can get a copy of the registration form, or if you are on Facebook, if you look up Zero Waste Racine, it's also
Zero Waste Racine on Facebook
included. And this program, planning for it, really started 7 years ago, when we had a committee that was really concerned about the landfill. We had city officials saying that, there's only 5 or 6 years left to Kestrel Hawk landfill, so how can we divert stuff from the landfill, because we have to find a new spot to dump it. Well, that landfill closed a year ago in January. So 1/4 of what gets put into a landfill is really compostable material. And 40% of that material comes from households. So that's why this program is important. If all our households would compost their food waste or else use the incinerator, that would work.
Janet Weyker, our guest. And, of course, you can check out all the information at Racine Interfaith Coalition, ricracine.org. Thank you. Hang in there, okay? Thank you, Janet. Good luck tomorrow.
All right, thank you.
Hold on. More coming up. We're going to talk to Bret Hoffmann of Marcus Theaters. That was Footloose, I think. Yeah, let's hear for the boy. It's 7:21 at WRJN. Speaking about movies, a little earlier today, because we got more to talk about. Bret Hoffmann from Marcus Theaters is here. Hey, Bret.
Hey there.
Okay, so the reason we're here earlier is because was it CinemaCon or Show West? What were you at last week?
It is called CinemaCon.
CinemaCon. This is where all the movie people go because you get all the lowdown of what's coming out next year at the movies and in the future. And you were there. You get to hobnob with the stars. By the way, did you meet any stars?
You know, I didn't meet anyone directly this year. There were plenty of them there. I saw plenty of people. Actually, I take that back. I was at a little get-together, and I was a couple feet from Jeff Goldblum and a couple others. But I didn't personally meet anyone this year, but that's okay. I got the lowdown of everything that was going on.
Wait a second. You didn't walk up to Jeff Goldblum and say, hey, I saw you in The Fly. You didn't say that?
I did not mention that to him, no.
Oh,
but,
man, I would have done that.
He was around but busy when I was around him. So.
Any other stars you see there?
You know, there were a bunch of people announcing things. I mean, there were a lot of directors there. And Dwayne Johnson came and talked about Moana 2.
The Rock.
Yes, exactly. You had Anna Taylor-Joy Chris Hemsworth talking about Furiosa along with director George Miller. So there was a slew of celebrities there. I could go on and on and on. If anyone reads about who was there were a ton there. But for me, it was just amazing to watch and have optimism for all the great movies that are coming out in 2024 because, as you said, this is a convention that's put on by the National Association of Theater Owners, and everyone involved in motion picture exhibition is there, from theater owners and their key employees to movie studios and all the vendors that bring things to life, everyone from the projection equipment vendors to people that supply the concession materials. So everyone's there, and it's just a fun gathering of people, but of course the highlight is what's Hollywood going to bring us in 2024.
Before we talk about that, any improvements on popcorn coming out next year that we should know about?
I think that's something you can't improve upon, but there's always something. I mean, there's always sprinkles, there's always new tastes, there's always shakes, but yeah, popcorn has been a staple that's just stayed the test of time. I'll tell you that much.
All right, give us a lowdown. What'd you learn?
Well, there's a lot of things we learned. I'll talk about some announcements, and then we can go into genres. But I think from the announcement standpoint, we had some new things coming up that might not even come out this year. So Lionsgate came out and talked about the return of The Blair Witch, which of course is a very popular horror movie that came out of Sundance, and they're going to come out with another one. Margot Robbie and her production company are involved with Lionsgate in a Monopoly movie, which you would think about. It's funny that they've never adapted that, but you'd think about Monopoly, and that's Margot Robbie involved in that. And Paramount had just a slew of announcements that are coming out next year. A new Star Trek Origin movie is coming out. A G.I. Joe Transformers crossover film. Glenn Powell, who of course was in Top Gun Maverick and is a rising star, he's going to star with director Edgar Wright in a remake of the movie Running Man. And if anyone remembers this action movie, it starred Arnold Schwarzenegger quite some time ago.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
It's written by Stephen King, but he wrote it as Richard Bachman. So the Running Man is coming out. And then another interesting one, they're rebooting the Naked Gun series. Original one was with Leslie Nielsen and Priscilla Presley. This time, they're going to reboot the Naked Gun series, the comedy series that I love, this time with Liam Neeson and Pamela Anderson. So we'll see how the Naked Gun comes out. And other news, Ridley Scott's directing a Bee Gees biopic, and that's from Paramount. And remember, Paramount just came out with a very successful Bob Marley One Love biopic that was very successful, and we'll see how they do with Bee Gees. But and Universal came out and said Five Nights at Freddy's this fall was a smash hit based upon an adapted video game. They're going to come up with a new one in 2025. So when you look at some things that are coming on the horizon, those are some things that were coming out that I think people will see not this year, but next year. But if you want my take on about 5 things that are going on that I'm most excited about for this coming year, I'll rattle them down. And Universal screened The Fall Guy. This is a movie with Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt. It's a romantic comedy. It's meshed with an action movie. I was in the audience, and a lot of these things, I can't tell you specific things about the footage I saw because there's an embargo on that, but I can tell you this much. It is a fun movie. It is a great movie that people enjoy on date nights. It's a great action movie as well. It has great crossover appeal, and there's a 90% critics rating on this movie at Rotten Tomatoes. If you go there right now, you can see what everyone's saying. This is The Fall Guy, and it comes out on May 3rd. So May 3rd, actually, with premieres on May 2nd. Remember, Hollywood starts their summer movie series early. We here in the Midwest are a little bit colder in the early May, but for Hollywood, they start up their series in May, and they're going to kick it off very strong with The Fall Guy. So that's one I'm really looking forward to. And then the other couple I'm looking forward to, Joker Folie à Deux. and that's coming out on October 4th.
How do you say that? I see that in print all the time, and I have no idea how to pronounce it. How do you say it?
Let's see if I can butcher it. Joker Folie à Deux. So,
is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what I've got, and that's I'm probably butchering my French there, but the reason it's called that is because Joaquin Phoenix is teaming up again. He's Arthur Fleck, who is the Joker, and he's teaming up with Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn. And when you get to see some footage, when you get to see the first trailers, you see that there's just chemistry behind them. Of course, the first Joker did phenomenally. I think this one with Lady Gaga has been great. And there are a lot of rumors about this one. Is it a musical? And the director came out and he told us, well, here's the deal. It's not necessarily a musical, but music is a very, very essential element to this film. So the footage we saw was tremendous. If you saw The Joker a few years back, I can't imagine you're not going to enjoy this one, and I think this is definitely the hit of fall. So we're going to start out quarter 4 with Joker, Folie à Deux, very, very strongly. The footage we saw was just excellent and just amazing.
Are we going to see it on Broadway as a musical?
I don't know if you'll see it, but who knows? I mean, it looked that good, and of course, we saw Lady Gaga in A Star Is Born, and wasn't she tremendous?
She was good in that film, unrecognizable because she didn't have blonde hair, but she excellent in that movie. What a great actress she is!
Yeah, I think this will definitely not be your last performance on screen, but I think this will be a good one and just another breakout one. I mean, I see awards for these two if the movie lives up to what I've seen so far. Based upon that, I can't imagine. I think people are going to be mesmerized by these two on screen.
Now, hold it right there. We're going to take a quick break. We're back with more from CinemaCon. Just bit my lip. Well, more from CinemaCon. It was last week in Las Vegas, and Bret Hoffmann from Marcus Theaters was there. He's our man on the scene. And we'll find out what's opening this weekend at theaters, too. That's all coming up here at WRJN Radio. I'm Don Rosen. I want to thank you for joining us here this morning. It's going to have an increase in cloud cover today, but becoming sunny and beautiful tomorrow, especially for that special day from the Racine Interfaith Coalition with food composting tomorrow. Sunny, highs near 48. Sunday, sunny with a high near 56.
One thing I said that I would never do. A look from you and I would fall from grace, and that would wipe the smile right from my face. Do you remember when we used to dance, and incidents arose from circumstance? One thing led to another, we were young, and we would scream together songs unsung. It was the heat of the moment.
7:35 WRJ, and we started a little early this morning with Bret Hoffmann from Marcus Theaters because he was at CinemaCon last week, getting all the lowdown on the movies, the stars, what's coming out, the latest in concessions, everything to do with movies. And what else? Oh, by the way, I did learn, I had this on this morning, that Martin Scorsese wants Leonardo DiCaprio to play Frank Sinatra in a new biopic. I think he uses Leo DiCaprio in every one of his movies, doesn't he?
Well, he's what a great go-to. Much. You can't go wrong, can you?
And he always, back in the 70s and 80s and 90s, he always used Joe Pesci and Robert De Niro.
Sure. Now
he uses Leonardo DiCaprio. I guess when you find someone who knows how you think and feel, you want to hold on to them. Okay, so, and also, Quentin Tarantino was going to make a movie called The Movie Critic. It was going to be his 10th and final film. He scrapped it. Not going to happen. So I don't know about that.
Yeah, we'll see. There's been rumors of what that final film will be from Quentin. I know it will be good, but we'll just let him do his thing, and I'm sure when he comes around to it, we'll be surprised, and it will be great.
So what else do we have from CinemaCon?
Yeah, there's 3 more movies, and I'll kind of go over some highlights. One footage that we saw, which I will tell you is just tremendous, Wicked. This movie is coming out during the Thanksgiving season, and Wicked from Universal Pictures. It's directed by John Chu. Ariana Grande plays Galinda. Then you have Elphaba, who's played by Cynthia Erivo, and Jeff Goldblum plays the Wizard of Oz. Okay, this is a takeoff from the Broadway musical Wicked, but it's its own experience. when you see the first footage, when you take a look at this, you will be mesmerized. You will be mesmerized much like you were when you saw the first Harry Potter films. That's the way I would describe it. It is a fantasy film. It takes you back to Oz. It's an origin story. And this one is going to be absolutely phenomenal. Expect it to do tremendously well, and everyone's going to be excited about seeing Wicked Part 2, which is going to come out in 2025.
Yeah. Why are they doing that? Part 1 and Part 2, a year apart?
Well, I would tell you this much. I believe this story is big enough, and just this universe of Oz is big enough that it requires 2 parts to tell this story. So I am very jazzed about this one. Seeing some of the footage, seeing some of the extended looks, it just looks tremendous. So that was one of my, when I came out of this, that's why I put it in my top 5 things coming out of CinemaCon.
And I love musicals. I'm the biggest musical fan. I saw the Broadway musical version of Wicked, and it was just spectacular. We saw it in Chicago. And it was just spectacular, so I can't wait for that. I even liked the musical when it was out. What's the kid with the arm in the cast? Evan Hansen. Dear Evan Hansen. I thought that was a great musical. I just wish they'd have more musicals out there, but no, they're doing more Marvel movies. What else do we have coming out?
All right. Kevin Costner is coming out with a concept which I am really excited about. It's called Horizon American Saga. You're going to see this summer Horizon American Saga Part 1 being released on June 28th. And at the end of the summer, you're going to see Horizon and American Saga Part 2 being released on August 16th.
They're doing that again.
So this is going to be great, and it's looking to do 4 total movies in these. The first 2 would be this year. It's Kevin Costner. It's about the expansion of the American West during kind of that Civil War era, during about 20 years that occurs before and after the Civil War. And just you look at the breathtaking, picturesque vistas of the West. Kevin Costner in a Western movie, I don't think we can go wrong here, and they're taking a bit of a risk giving us 2 of them. But I think that's really neat. People are consuming content kind of episodically when they're looking at some of these things, and I think this is going to be really neat, where they come out with Part 1 in the first part of the summer in June, and they pay it off in August. So Kevin was there. He talked about it. This has been a passion project of his since the late 80s, and he's finally getting it done. So I'm looking forward to seeing Kevin and looking forward to seeing the kind of this Western movie, an American Saga, come out.
I was at his restaurant in Deadwood, South Dakota. He owns a restaurant out there. His brother runs it, but he owns the restaurant. And in the restaurant is all his memorabilia from his movies, including Dancing with Wolves, which was filmed not far from there in South Dakota. And, yeah, it's just, he's into Westerns. Open Range. Remember that movie he made, Open Range? He made it several years ago. I forget who was co-starring in it. I don't know if it was Robert Duvall. It was a great Western. Of course, Yellowstone is his big network show. All right, what else you got?
Well, and then another one I'll tell you about. M. Night Shyamalan is coming back. We know he always has twists in his movies. The trailer itself for this movie, Trap, which is coming out in July. This one is going to be really phenomenal. Go check this out. Actually, I'm sorry. August 2nd is when it comes out. The movie is Trap. There's a twist in the actual trailer itself, which could have been the twist for the actual movie. But go check that out. It's Trap. It's Josh Hartnett. It's about the police setting a trap for a serial killer inside of a concert, trying to get him. But M. Night Shyamalan is directing this. Of course, it will have a lot of twists. And I would say otherwise, when you're looking at a theme, we want to talk about animation and family movies. So there's 2 sides of that. There were presentations at CinemaCon specifically about anime, Japanese animation. It is coming by storm. People are enjoying this. It used to be a small niche category. Now we see sometimes these Japanese anime films being released and being the #1 movie at the box office during the weekend. So Crunchyroll gave a presentation with a bunch of their anime that's coming out. We know there are a ton of other anime movies, but check out these anime films when they come out. Of course, in recent years, we've had things. Last year, we had The Boy and the Heron, which did well. There's the popular Demon Slayer series. There's the popular Dragon Ball series. And actually, this weekend, you have a movie that's coming out that is going to be Spy Family Code White, which we can talk about a little bit. But these anime films are coming, and they are doing very, very well. It's a different style than typical animation, but it's coming. And, of course, that segues into family and animated movies, and it is going to be a big big year. Disney is really coming out strong. They showed the first 30 minutes of Inside Out 2, which is coming out in June. That's going to be phenomenal. Dwayne Johnson was there, as we talked about, to introduce Moana 2. Moana 2 in November is going to be phenomenal. And then they also have a movie called Mufasa the Lion King, which is another Lion King film that's coming out during the Christmas season. So Disney's coming out by storm. You also have Universal coming out with Despicable Me 4 during the July 4th weekend, or the July 4th week. You have Sony coming out with Garfield during Memorial Day weekend. And Universal's putting out a movie called The Wild Robot based upon a popular children's book. When you look at what is coming out for family and animated films this year, you're going to see some big, big, big movies and things that people will enjoy. And I really can't forget that Paramount, the final animated movie of the year, is going to be another Sonic the Hedgehog 3 with Jim Carrey coming back. And that has been a phenomenal video game release. So when we look at all that, and you look at CinemaCon, tons of great content coming out, including all the ones we talked about between Wicked and American Saga, Joker, The Fall Guy, and then you have all this great family product. It is going to be a great year at the movies, so stay tuned for everything that we've got coming up, because it's going to be a fun, wild ride.
I love the name of that anime company, Crunchyroll.
Yep.
What a name. And, of course, if people don't know anime, all the characters always look alike. They get the big wide eyes with the same black hairstyle, but they got those big wide eyes. That's how you can tell Japanese anime. And it's been around for years. One of my favorites was Spirited Away. Do you remember that film?
Yeah, it's one of the most popular releases.
I have that. Yeah. I bought it on DVD because I loved it so much. I saw it in the movies and I loved it so much, and it's my favorite one. All right, so we have 3. Oh, is that it for CinemaCon?
Yeah, that's it for CinemaCon. Let's get into the 3 new movies, because we've got some great movies coming up this weekend. Okay, well, the first one that's coming out, it is a World War II action movie directed by Guy Ritchie. It stars Henry Cavill, and this one's called The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. Like I said, Guy Ritchie directs Henry Cavill. He stars as this actor in this war drama. It's a highly skilled group of soldiers in the British military that are trained to strike against German forces behind enemy lines in World War II. So, great action movie, The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. If you've seen anything Guy Ritchie does, you know there's some great action and just some great directing involved in his movies.
I think it's produced by Jerry Bruckheimer, so you have like the Top Gun guy behind this film. All right, what else we got?
All right, we have a horror movie called Abigail. Another great one. This is a vampire movie. A group of criminals kidnap the ballerina daughter of a powerful underworld figure. Little do they know they kidnapped a vampire, and obviously when they find out that happens, bad things ensue for them. So the movie is Abigail. It is a horror movie. It's a vampire horror movie, and that's out this weekend. And the third film is probably the most intriguing, and we just talked about it. It's called Spy Family Code White. It's a anime or Japanese animation film, and it's distributed by Crunchyroll. Very interesting story, and I saw about maybe 10 minutes of footage from this movie and was very intrigued, and it looks spectacular. It's about a family where the father is a spy, the mother is an assassin, and they're all leading double lives and pretending to be the perfect family. So that's their cover. Now, unbeknownst to them, they have an adopted daughter who happens to be telepathic that knows all of their secrets as well. So lots of things going on, as they always do in these anime films. But again, if you're looking for an anime film, if you haven't seen this, this might be one to go check out. It's Spy Family Code White. The fans of anime are going to be coming out to see this one. So check this one out if anime intrigues you and it's something you want to go see. But this picture that's coming out this weekend.
Now, you do have some older pictures. I have the schedule because I copied it when I was in the theater. I took a picture of it. Of course, I'm not prepared, as I usually am not prepared. Hold on a second. Somewhere. You have a big standee in the lobby, and I took a giant picture. Really good movies. We just saw The Godfather, and across from the hall there was Gone with the Wind. And two of the ones were... It's not it. Well, I just took a picture of it. What the heck did I do with it? And you have Dial M for Murder coming up on the big screen, and you classic, which I can recite the dialogue from. Just love watching it on the big screen. Such a great movie. But you have all these play as well as the current hits, which is really good.
Yeah, if you go to Market Under the Movies tab, there's something called Event Cinema, and you'll be able to see different movies that are coming out and that are going to be so intriguing. For instance, window, we also have North by Northwest coming out in May.
Yes.
Which is, I would say, if you ask me what's my favorite Hitchcock film, I would say it's a tie between and Rear Window. So that one's coming out. You look at Blazing Saddles is, of course, its 50th anniversary that one's coming out. So that's that will be a very unique release. But that, as you mentioned, Rear Window is coming out in August. So a lot coming back.
Wait a second. My daughter's favorite movie growing up from the 80s, The Story, is coming out in July. Oh, she loved The Never-Ending Story. There was actually a hit song from that movie. So if people want to see the website?
Yeah, you can check out the complete list of the Event Cinema. Go to Marcus Theaters tab, and it's called Event Cinema. You'll be able to see all these specialty movies and things. We've got plenty of more things than just traditional releases. We've got niche movies, but also very popular bringbacks, and maybe are only coming back for special events. But go check that out, because everything from animated movies, retro films, to classic films, it's all there, and it's so the cinema is something for everyone, and we do have something with and niche content and special events for people to come see.
And get your tickets early. Nose into Gone with the Wind just to see what part of the movie they were at. And she says every for Gone with the Wind. So they do go fast, some of these films. And now, I know all the dialogue from it, but just watching it again was fun with an audience. And you hear people in the audience also not shouting, muttering certain movies when Michael says to, "You broke my heart, Fredo." You broke my heart. Marcus Theater is a great place to see a film. I love the recliners. I love the food. I love the people. Bret Hoffmann back again next Friday morning at his usual time, 7:30. Thank you. Appreciate it. And thanks for filling us in on CinemaCon. I love it.
Anytime. We'll see you at the movies.
Okay, Mike Clemens coming up next with sports here at WRJ and Hometown Radio over 5 media station on a beautiful, gorgeous Friday morning. Sports guy Mike Clemens on board right now, lives and breathes sports, and he's sharing all his knowledge with us. And good morning, Mike. Good seeing you again. Good talking to you again.
Good morning. Good morning.
All right, here's my trivia question for you this morning. I just found this out the other day. It was one of our fun facts. Every baseball for the major leagues and minor leagues, the physical baseball itself, is rubbed with mud from New Jersey before it's shipped out. Every single one. And they don't explain why. It was just a fun fact. And do you know why? I don't know why.
Well, they want to rough them up a little bit.
But why is it got to be New Jersey mud?
Yeah, I have no idea. That's fascinating. We got to find out. I mean, it's a Rawlings baseball, and they sell them in the gift shop for like $25 if you actually want to buy one. I think they're like made in Costa Rica. I don't exactly know everything about how they're made.
But why New Jersey mud? That's what I got to figure out.
Yeah, New Jersey mud. Why?
I don't know. Everyone minor leagues.
Is it because the league office is in New York, or
I don't know.
No, Bud Selig, of course, worked out of the U.S. Bank building when he was commissioner all those years. I just know one thing. Do you know Mark Richards, the announcer?
Oh yeah, good friends with him. Yeah.
Yeah, well, Mark is the PA announcer at American Family Field, been so for like the last 5 years or so. He almost took a Rawlings to the forehead the other night. Top foul. Came back and screaming, and Manny Machado, I believe, was the guy that hit it from the visiting team at the time. So, he has this little dent in the wall behind him with a date and time and and who hit it and who was pitching, because he just he moved his head at the last second and avoided getting one right in the forehead.
When I used to go to Shea Stadium with my friends to see the Mets play, my mother used to say when I went by myself with them when I was like 13 years old, 12 years old, she said, pay attention. Don't take their eyes off, because where our seats were, a lot of foul balls were hit. We always brought our mitts with us, but she said, pay attention.
I think the reason baseball had to put up all that extra netting in the ballparks is because half the people are looking down at their cell phones rather than actually watching the game. So, all
right, we got the Bucks hosting Indiana Sunday night. Game 1 of the best of 7 playoff series.
Yeah, the Bucks played the Indiana Pacers 5 times. They lost 4 of those games, and many of those matchups were in sort of the first half of the season before Doc Rivers got here as the head coach. And he said he was actually talking to Giannis Antetokounmpo about what were some of those games like. What did they do? What worked? What didn't work? Giannis will not be in the game. He's got this calf injury that he suffered in that thriller when they came up with the win against the Celtics. But the Bucks are kind of limping in here. I think they lost 4 of their last 5 games again, or something like that. And then Damian Lillard, he's had a groin injury where he didn't practice so far this week. I think he's going to be able to play, but we'll find out. But yeah, the Bucks are going into this series a team that everybody thought would be for sure a contender. They won a lot of games. They've been 19-20, actually a losing record since Doc took over as the head coach. But I think the pregame starts at 5:30 on WRJN.
5:30, right? Pregame 5:30.
Yeah, and the tip-off time at 6 o'clock, and I'll be there covering the game Sunday night in Milwaukee.
Now, I heard this on the news. The NBA banned the Raptors' 24-year-old star, DeJounte Porter, for gambling. Yeah. Is it a lifetime ban?
Lifetime ban.
Yes,
like
I heard about that. Yeah.
Like Pete Rose. Well, you know what? There's like at least 3 different violations that they found in their investigation. The one that's most curious is he's active on the Raptors, and he goes into the game for a couple of minutes and just, like they used to talk about, gambling and boxing, the guy's going to take a dive, right?
Yeah,
he's going to pretend to get hit and go down. He intentionally didn't play well and screwed up a game. On top of that, somehow they tracked down that he tipped off another guy who's either a bookie or I love saying the word bookie, or another gambler to say, hey, I'm going to go in there and take a dive tonight. So, you could bet that I won't score any points or something like that. I mean, now when you're messing with the game, it's one thing that they found that when he was down in the G League, which is like the minor leagues, he was betting on NBA games. I think he spent and he used somebody else's account to pull this off. So he must have had people turn on him. That he spent $76,000 and made a profit of over $21,000. So that's one thing to be betting on the games. But and the next thing though is he's to actually be participating in a game and take a dive like that. Boy, that really ticked off Adam Silver.
Yeah,
so lifetime ban, like Pete Rose.
Yeah, I saw that on ABC World News. Just threw his whole career down the tubes. 2 players.
Yeah, he's got a brother who is on the Nuggets. They're going into the playoffs, and he's going to have to answer questions like, "Hey, how about your little brother? How's that working out for you?"
Yeah, 2 players leaving the Badgers men's basketball team. Let's talk about that.
Oh, what's going on? A.J. Storr was one of their best scorers, a guard, 17 points, went into the portal, and he got a bunch of offers, and he's going to Kansas. And then a few hours after we learned that, then Chucky Hepburn, a guy that Greg Gard had said had really come on, in January as a team leader, he was really counting on him coming back. He's announced that he's going to transfer as well. And they think that maybe what some of these guys are doing is that the money's better elsewhere. This NIL money that college players can now get. It's the NIL. It stands for name, image, and likeness. And it's funny. I saw some of those guys on a Madison TV station that able to take that money. They were in TV commercials, like for a car dealership and another one for a restaurant, standing there in their Badgers gear. But they're losing players sometimes because the money's better elsewhere.
Yeah. All right, we got 1 minute left here. Let's talk about the NFL draft coming up.
That's coming up in a week, and we think that maybe he needs to get another safety, some other needs, but it's been pointed out that he actually might need to get another offensive lineman, even though they seem to be set toward the end of the year on who they had on the offensive line. They want to make some moves, and they just picked up a guy who's played for the Titans named Dillard. But it's always interesting, in the days leading up as to where the Packers will trade up, what kind of a player will they pick. But they've got a lot of picks, and they've been really good in the draft last couple of years. So that starts Thursday night, a little after 7 o'clock.
Yeah, it's time to watch the Kevin Costner movie, Draft Day. Remember that movie?
Oh, I think that's pretty good. I actually think that's pretty good. Yeah,
it's good. Of course, we're going to wrap up here. We got the Brewers playing tonight against the Cards. They'll be out in St. Louis, 6:40, and then they're playing again Saturday and Sunday as well. Mike Clemens, our sports guy, keeping it on. He's traveling all over America for us here on Civic Media and WRJN Radio. Thank you, Mike. Have a safe
trip. You can bet on it. You can bet on it. Wait a minute. What did I say?
Don't say bet. Check with your bookie. Okay. Bye-bye, Mike. Okay, I'll catch you Monday morning once again, 6 a.m., bright and early here at WRJN. I'm Don Rosen. Enjoy your weekend.